I am 67, and forgetting taught me what I was pretending to remember. For most of my life, I thought memory was about holding on to things, keeping them safe, storing them away like precious photographs in a box. But now that mine is slipping away piece by piece, I'm learning something nobody tells you. Sometimes forgetting shows you what was real and what you just made up along the way. The doctor used a word I'd heard before but never really understood. Early stages, she said. Like I was at the beginning of some journey I never wanted to take. She spoke gently, the way people do when they're about to change your world. But here's what's strange. When she explained what was happening to me, I felt something I hadn't felt in decades: relief. Not because I wanted this, nobody wants this, but because finally, someone was naming what I'd been feeling, this sense that things weren't quite right, that I was losing my grip on something I thought I had control over, my own story. You spend your whole life building this narrative about who you are: wife, mother, friend, the woman who always remembered birthdays, the one who kept the family together, the one who smiled through everything. But what happens when you start forgetting the scripts you wrote for yourself? What happens when the lines you've been reciting for 50 years start to fade and you realize you never meant any of them? I've been married to Robert for 43 years. 43 years. That's longer than some of you have been alive. And for most of those years, I thought we had a good marriage. Not perfect, but good. Solid. The kind that lasts. But lately, as my memory starts to shift, I'm finding things that don't quite fit. Conversations I remember having that he says never happened. Arguments I'm sure we resolved that apparently we never had. Last week, I was looking through old photo albums. You know how people say pictures don't lie? They do. Or maybe we lie to ourselves about what we see in them. There I am in dozens of photos, smiling, always smiling. Wedding photos, birthday parties, family gatherings, this radiant, happy woman. But looking at them now, with whatever clarity this condition is giving me, I can see something else, something I've been pretending not to notice for decades. The smile never reaches my eyes. Not once. In 43 years of photographs, not once do I look genuinely happy. I look performing. Like an actress who's been playing the same role so long she's forgotten it's not really her. This morning, Robert was in the kitchen making coffee. Our usual routine. He makes coffee, I make toast. We sit at the same table we've sat at for 20 years and talk about the weather, about what's on the news, about nothing that matters. But today I watched him really closely, and I realized he's performing too. We're both just acting out this marriage. Have we been doing this the entire time? I tried to remember when I stopped telling him what I really thought, when I stopped sharing the things that actually interested me, when I started saying whatever you think is best instead of having my own opinion. I can't pinpoint it. It just happened gradually, like my memory is happening now, one piece disappearing at a time until you realize something important is gone and you can't remember when you last had it. The cruel irony is that losing my memory is making me more honest than I've ever been. When you can't remember the lies you've told yourself for 50 years, you start to see things as they actually are. I don't love Robert. I probably never did. I love the idea of being married. I love the security, the respectability, the way it looked from the outside. But love, real love, the kind that makes you want to know someone deeply, to share your secrets, to be seen. I don't think I ever felt that. And he doesn't love me either. I can see it now. He loves the routine, the predictability, the way I take care of things so he doesn't have to think about them. But me, the real me, whatever that is, he's never shown any curiosity about her at all. We have 2 children, Susan and Michael. Good kids. Well, they're not kids anymore. Susan is 40, Michael is 38. They call every week, visit on holidays, send cards. Perfect children living perfect lives, just like their mother taught them. And they have no idea who I actually am either, because I never let them see. I remember Susan when she was maybe 15, going through that phase where everything is dramatic and emotional. She came to me crying about some boy, some rejection that felt like the end of the world. And you know what I did? I gave her the same advice my mother gave me. Smile through it. Don't let them see you upset. Keep up appearances. Be pleasant. Be agreeable. Don't make waves. God, what was I thinking? What was I teaching her? That her feelings didn't matter? That being liked was more important than being real? I watched my 15-year-old daughter learn to perform the same way I had been performing, and I thought I was being a good mother. Now Susan calls me every Tuesday at exactly 3 o'clock. Same time, same conversation. How am I feeling? What did I do today? Is Dad taking good care of me? All the right questions, delivered in exactly the right tone. But she never asks what I'm thinking about, what I want, what scares me besides the obvious. She learned her lessons well. Keep it pleasant. Keep it surface level. Don't dig too deep. Michael is different, more like his father. Quiet, controlled, doesn't share much. But sometimes I catch him looking at me with this expression, like he's trying to figure something out, like he knows there's more to me than what I show. But I never let him in either. I just kept smiling, kept agreeing, kept being the version of myself that everyone seemed comfortable with. The strange thing is, I don't know who I would have been if I hadn't spent so much energy being who I thought everyone wanted me to be. I don't know what I actually like, what I actually want, what I actually think about anything important. I've been so busy being pleasant and agreeable and easy to live with that I never developed any real opinions of my own. Sometimes I catch myself in the mirror and I don't recognize the person looking back. Not because of my condition, not because I'm forgetting faces, but because I see this woman who looks tired in a way that sleep can't fix. Tired from carrying a character around for 50 years. Tired from never allowing herself to just exist without editing herself first. Do I like coffee? I drink it every morning, but do I actually like it? Or did I just start drinking it because Robert likes it and it seemed like the wifely thing to do? Do I like the color blue? Our whole house is decorated in shades of blue, but now I can't remember choosing it. Did I choose it, or did someone else choose it and I just went along? These sound like small things, but when you add them up over 50 years, they become your entire life. Last month, I was in the grocery store, same store I've been shopping at for 20 years. I know every aisle, every product, every sales cycle, but I was standing there with my list, and suddenly I couldn't remember what any of it was for. Not because of my condition, because I realized I didn't know if these were things I wanted or just things I always bought, because that's what I always bought. I stood there for maybe 20 minutes, just looking at this list in my handwriting. Milk, bread, chicken breast, green beans. the same things I buy every week. And I thought, when was the last time I bought something because I wanted it? Not because we needed it, not because it was practical, not because it was on sale. When did I last buy something just because it made me happy? I couldn't remember, and that's when I started crying, right there in aisle 7, between the canned vegetables and the pasta sauce. Not because I was forgetting things, but because I was remembering them, remembering how long I'd been sleepwalking through my own life. The truth is, I'm not losing my memory. I'm losing my ability to pretend. The nice, neat story I told myself about my life is falling apart, and I'm seeing it for what it really was, a performance. A very long, very convincing performance that even I believed. My friends think I'm becoming difficult, less agreeable, more opinionated. They say it's the condition, that it's changing my personality, but that's not what's happening. This is my personality. This is who I've been all along, underneath all that pretending. The condition isn't changing me, it's revealing me. Yesterday, Robert suggested we should start looking at assisted living facilities. For the future, he said, just to be prepared. And for the first time in our marriage, I told him exactly what I thought. I said no. I said I'm not ready to be warehoused somewhere because my memory isn't perfect anymore. I said I want to stay in my house, in my life, for as long as possible. I said a lot of things I'd been thinking but never said. He looked shocked, not angry, just shocked, like he was seeing me for the first time. And maybe he was. Maybe I was seeing me for the first time too. The hardest part isn't the forgetting, it's the remembering. Remembering all the times I swallowed my words, all the times I smiled when I wanted to scream, all the years I spent being someone else's version of who I should be, all the conversations I didn't have, the trips I didn't take, the dreams I didn't chase because they weren't practical or appropriate or what was expected of me. I keep thinking about time, how I spent so much of it trying to be perfect instead of trying to be real, how I thought I had all the time in the world to figure out who I actually was. But time doesn't wait for you to be ready. It doesn't care if you've been too busy performing to live. It just keeps moving, and before you know it, you're 67 and you're not sure you ever really existed at all. If someone had told me at 30 that I would spend the next 37 years pretending to be someone else, I would have laughed. I would have said that would never be me. I was too smart, too independent, too aware. But it happens so gradually you don't notice. One small compromise at a time. One smile when you want to frown. One yes when you mean no. One decision to be agreeable instead of authentic. And then one day you wake up and you're a stranger to yourself. You're living someone else's life, married to someone who doesn't know you, raising children who learn to hide themselves the same way you did. You're surrounded by people but completely alone because nobody has ever met the real you, including you. I don't know how much time I have left, not because of my condition, though that's part of it, but because I'm 67, and even healthy people don't have forever. What I know is this: I'm done pretending. I'm done being agreeable when I disagree. I'm done smiling when I'm sad. I'm done performing this character I created so long ago I forgot she wasn't real. Maybe it's too late to build a real life. Maybe I've pretended so long that authentic is impossible. But at least I can stop lying to Robert, to my children, to my friends, and most importantly, to myself. If this reaches you and you recognize something in what I'm saying, don't wait. Don't spend 43 years in a marriage that looks right but feels empty. Don't raise children to be performers. Don't smile when you want to cry. Don't agree when you disagree. Don't be so afraid of being disliked that you forget to be yourself. Your real self is in there somewhere, underneath all the should be's and supposed to's. She's been waiting patiently while you performed your way through decades. She's still there, even if you haven't heard from her in so long you're not sure she exists anymore. She does. And she deserves better than a lifetime of being someone else's idea of who you should be. Because here's what I learned too late. Being loved for who you're pretending to be isn't being loved at all. And forgetting who you really are is worse than forgetting anything else. The clock doesn't stop ticking while you figure it out. Time doesn't pause while you get ready to be real. It just keeps going, and if you're not careful, it goes by while you're still rehearsing for a life you never get around to living.